This is the Negro Ninja, and once again I have been drawn into the world of Breaking Bad. Okay, every time I try to leave, these niggas keep pulling me back in. Okay, so now I gotta break down the scene in the prequel called Better Call Saul. Okay. Okay, and one thing I love about the Breaking Bad series as a whole is not that the show itself breaks down how wicked society is. Okay, the show itself gets, people to prove the show correctly by how they misdiagnose a lot of characters, particularly the main character, okay, who is really the protagonist that everybody wants to believe is really the antagonist. All right. And I think that this scene in the prequel to where Nacho beats up Krasy 8, okay, pretty much adds to my narrative right here. Okay, so let's look. All right. Nacho beats up Krasy 8. Okay, now Krasy 8 is somebody that was very threatening to the main characters in season 1 because they just got into the meth trade. Okay, and he was this crazy thug that pretty much terrified them to the core. Okay, and I got to spoil it if I want to tell this correctly. All right, so eventually they get put into a situation to where they have to off this said individual. Okay, and Walter has to be the one to take this dude out. And it makes sense because, when you start something, you have to finish it. Okay, now it wasn't his fault that he was in that situation. It was Jesse's fault. And it was also Krasy 8's fault for being a liar. Okay, but once again, I might break it down in this episode, or I might have to do another video, but let's go. Okay, so Walter gets put into a situation where he has to tie up loose ends, which is to off Krasy 8. And they sit down and they have dialogue with one another. Okay, they get to know each other better as Negroes. Okay, and Walter gets a soft spot for Krasy 8. Okay, acting like that's his little nephew. Okay, he didn't want to go through with it because he learned more about, Krasy 8. And this is why you should never fraternize with your enemies. Okay, and to make this even deeper, like how God tells us to separate ourselves from the world. Okay, we don't need to go in there being friends with them and developing emotional attachments. They don't try to develop it with us. Okay, because they want to be able to do us in at the drop of a dime. You got to be able to do them in at the drop of a dime too. Don't get involved. And that's what Walter had to find out the hard way. But he eventually has to off this dude. Okay, and I might have to break that part down as I look at the scene. So not Krasy 8, talks to Walter. And he tries to make Walter believe that he is just this kid that, is in something that he did not want to be in. And, if he could have went the opposite way, he would have, but he had to, tell him, Walter, you shouldn't be in this line of work. Do the right thing. Let me go, Walter. Really just get into his head. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to explain it now. Okay. Anyway. And Walter's thinking, I don't want to do this. And he basically says, give me an excuse not to do this. Okay, just convince me not to do this, please. Okay, convince me that you won't come after my family, paraphrasing what happened. But that's more or less what was going on because he know that nigga's finna come and get him. You know what time it is. This is a drug dealer, Walter. Okay, these people don't have a soul. They don't have morals. Okay, since when does demons give a dang about anything that is good that you offer? They just see it as a way in or a way out. Okay. And, Walter goes back upstairs after he tries to tell him to convince him, and he finds a plate that was broken earlier due to him passing out from a coffin episode. Okay, or a coffin fit. And apparently Krasy 8 took one of the shards because he went into the trash and he was like, you know what? There should be more pieces here. That nigga must have got one of them. I know that nigga got it. And he was trying to go and untie him. He was like, but you took one of the shards and you're going to try to stab me with it. And he eventually gets injured, okay, from that mistake of being too nice. Okay, now breaking that down, okay, this particular scene where Nacho beats up Crazy 8 will even make more sense based off of how I just broke this down. Okay, now to the average person that's going to watch this scene that I'm about to break down, they'll say, "Oh, this is when Crazy 8 was the good guy, the good guy that he is trying to convince Walter that he used to be." All right, so let's listen. Hopefully, I don't get a copyright. I might even show it a little bit, but we'll see. Let's see what happened. Hold on, let me show y'all this frame real quick. Hold on, why is it not? Hold on. Now you see that frame of what Nacho is, has Hector Salamanca behind him, and that's Crazy 8 in a polo shirt, looking all innocent, trying to convince you that he ain't a nigga, knowing dang well he's a nigga and always have been and died a nigga.
How's your dad? Fine. Business good? Yeah, I think so. Cool. All right. Hey, my
And let me just take that back a little bit so they won't say I'm, doing something that's worthy of a copyright strike. Okay. But he comes in there looking innocent with a polo shirt. Okay. And I don't know if y'all saw this part right here, but let me go back a little bit. He's acting nice and innocent, looking nice and innocent. Okay, and Nacho got his hand out like, give me the money. And dude basically does that passive aggressive disrespectfulness that the average mother effer does to a decent individual. Okay, passive aggressive by disrespecting Nacho, who is, I guess, a don. I don't know. I don't know what you call drug niggas, but that's the nigga that he answered to. Pay up, and then he didn't do it, and Nacho like, nigga, I just asked you for the money. Okay. All right, that's what. Look at the expression right here. Like this nigga. Okay, now Salamanca is watching everything, pretending like he's reading the newspaper. Okay, now if you're just looking at this at the base level, one can just say, "Oh, this is his bad conscience right here." Okay.
How's your dad?
How's your day? Let's go back.
How's your dad?
What the heck does a day got to do with this business?
Fine. Business good? Yeah, I think so. Cool. All right.
You see how he's using his kindness to essentially do a keto move on Nacho. How's your day? Okay, does that not remind you of how a bitch does you when it comes time for her to pay what she owes? Okay, she want to do a lot of talking when it comes time to do the deed. Or if you ask her something, she want to talk about something that don't got nothing to do with nothing. You talking about pumping gas. Okay, she's talking about somebody getting surgery. Like it don't really make any sense. That's what's going on here. Okay, so let's listen.
Father's gonna bring in his Corolla. His dogs tore up the back seat. Like, ate the stuffing.
Look at Nacho's frustration. Like, get on with it, man. Come on. Okay, and the dude know he is full of crap. Trying to stall because he don't got all the money. Okay, just like how people try to finesse you because they ain't got nothing to offer. Wasting your time. Okay. Instead of getting down to business. That's what a lot of people are. They're a waste of time. They're snakes just like Crazy 8. And a lot of people that watch this scene, based off of all the comments that I have read, based off of different channels that's showing the same clip, I have not heard anybody call out, Probably just one person that was like, oh, he's stalling because he didn't have all the money. Okay, that's pretty basic. Okay, but for the most part, most people think, okay, that he's just doing that because he don't got the money. But it goes deeper than that. This nigga is just full of crap. That's just how he is as a person. And I'm gonna explain more as we go on.
So, one of my guys, new kid, got spooked by a cruiser and ran. Dumped his stash in the gutter. Let me finish.
Nigga, hush. I'm trying to count. Okay. Now, that can be a valid excuse. Who's to say if it's true or not? Okay, I don't trust Crazy 8. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna break down why I said that later on though. All right, let me go back to this part right here.
Let me finish.
Look at how he's looking. He know that he's up to no good. And he's watching Hector because Hector is over him.
Like I was saying, the guy's... Why didn't you make it up on your end? I did, but I couldn't make it all up. You got my share, man. I swear. All right.
Okay, now the reason why he's watching the old man in the back is because he knows the old man know he's full of crap. Okay, he's not worried about Nacho because Nacho is soft right now. Nacho is not really he don't really want to do this type of stuff right here. Okay, he just going through the motions. He don't like all this crazy stuff that Tuco, Salamanca, and all the other gangsters is doing. All right. He want to just do this stuff with as little bloodshed as possible. All right.
Make it up next week. Thank you, Nacho. No nectar.
And he just took his kindness for weakness. Okay, which, even though Nacho is one of the best people in the show morally, that still is a weakness for the line of work that he is in. Okay, if you're going to do evil stuff, you got to do evil all the way. Okay, he lacks conviction. Okay, a lot of wicked people do not lack conviction. Okay, he's like the equivalent of a Christian that don't go in all the way. Okay, like a Christian that says, "Oh, God loves everybody." Okay, he loves the person, he hates the sin. Okay, that's a Christian that that don't have conviction. Okay, or a person of God that don't have conviction. Because that's what I call myself. I don't really say Christian. I would just say Christian just to give people a good idea. Okay. All right. So he thinks that he is in the green. He just finessed the whole situation. Okay. Now, when I first seen this scene, I was like, yeah, Hector Salamanca, he's the devil. And that's how the show wants you to believe. And it still is true. He is an evil individual. Okay. But I break down scenes, okay, and show you how they write the villain as the good guy that you're supposed to hate when you really stop to think about it. And I'm going to tell you why I said that later.
Who works for who? Huh?
And you see how he just, oh, I got to do this. Oh. He know what he got to do. He know what he should have done. You finna tune this dude up. Okay. You just took him back there and beat the crap out of him. Okay. And what I like about this scene is how Hector is just watching the whole thing, pretending that he's not. That's how people are in everyday situations. All with just knows as heck. They see everything going on. And Hector peeped game. He see what this dude was doing. So who works for who? Okay. It's not an ego thing or nothing. Okay, he just said that this nigga played you. Okay, and that's he basically made Nacho his bitch. All right, he showed weakness. Okay, now when you put yourself in a role, you have to really commit to that role. And that's not what Nacho was doing. Okay, let's see what else. And it just doesn't phase him because in the show the dude is evil. But if you're looking at this, if you're just thinking about this like in a real life perspective, okay, Hector represents that dude that that just know what time it is. You know how they say, what's that saying? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Well, let's say ignorance is bliss. I'm trying to find what Solomon said. I think he was saying the more wise he gets, the more sorrowful he gets, but I don't feel like trying to find it. Okay, and he just basically get desensitized to this BS. Okay, while Nacho is being naive. Okay, Hector knows that he's dealing with demons. Okay, you can't be nice to these things. Okay, just like how God tells you you have authority over these demons. You don't be kind to demons. They ain't your friends. Give them an inch, they take a mile. Okay, that's why he was watching Hector and not really too caught up with Nacho because Nacho not doing his own things. And you see that Hector pretty much told Nacho what to do in this situation. They say that they watch the people that can think for themselves. Hector's the OG. He know what time it is. He know what to do. But okay, Nacho or whatever. Okay, just like people watch you because they know that you is that same type of threat. Let me watch this nigga. You're not as dumb as the rest of them. What the? Then you have people standing over there acting like they doing something, driving past. That's real. All right, I had this pause for a minute. I was about to say something. I hope I didn't forget, but let me say it just in case. Okay, you can't be playing with these demons. You got authority over these demons. Okay, you got dominion over these demons. Okay, you show them what time it is. Okay, all right. Now looking at this deep again. Okay, and I'm gonna break it down. From the simple, like the way they want you to see it after this. Okay, but anyway, who works for who? Okay, that can symbolize you being in control of your own thoughts. Okay, Nacho really wanted to be manipulated. He just, oh man, make it up next week. He know that. I'm pretty sure he know that dude was BSing him. They grew up with each other. Okay, he's a good earner, but he the type of dude that he just like to manipulate. Okay, and he basically played the card that Walt played. Just convinced me not to do it. Okay, like he was saying, convince me not to beat your age. Just make it up next week. Okay, and he was playing off of that, and he just spinning it. Okay, and made it his. Like the goal of a demon when they trying to possess you. Okay, put stupid stuff in your head and try to get you to go along with it. Now, using what Hector just said, who works for who? You take that thought and you say, shut the F up. You rebuke that thought. Okay, if a thought is telling you to do something stupid that you know that you don't even do by mistakes in your own self, by yourself, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Get the heck on somewhere. I know I don't think like that. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to break this down on a simple level. This is how they want you to see the scene. Okay, and if you look at it this way, it is still correct as well. Okay, if you're just taking it at, face value. Okay, Krasy 8 is still a piece of crap. Okay, and Hector is the devil still. Nacho is not as evil as those two right here. Okay, they got what's that dude's name? Krasy 8 sitting here, Nacho's here, Salamanca's right there. So it's like he just caught in between or whatever. So that's symbolic right there. Okay. He wants out. Nacho wants out. This is not what he wants to do. Salamanca, if you're looking at it from the regular perspective, one could say that he possessed him to even go against his heart and be cruel to that dude. Okay, and that's why I like this show. Like it's just genius on so many levels. Okay, it perfectly illustrates how good and evil parallel each other too. Like how they just, you know, how they're rivals with one another too. Of course, evil is nowhere near as powerful as good. It can't even measure up to it. But you see the counterfeit. Okay, okay, much like how they say there's a thin line between genius and idiocy or stupidity or something. All right, and before I forget, I need to break down even more of Crazy Eight from Breaking Bad. Okay, and how ultimately it was his fault that all that happened in the first season. Okay, because the show started off with his cousin getting arrested and Jesse Pinkman getting lucky. He was in there clapping some cheeks. Okay, he had a bad white chick too. That chick that was stacked, she was stacked, looked like a Conan girl. Okay, and then Walter sees him, and then he goes up there and blackmail Jesse. Look, you're gonna help me sell this meth, nigga. If you don't do it, I'm gonna snitch. Okay, man, dang. Okay, so they go and make the meth. Okay, Walter sees that he's better than everybody. He's like, of course, I'm a genius. Okay, what you think? You got a distributor. Then he goes to find Crazy Eight. Okay, who is the cousin of that dude that got arrested. Okay, and basically, Crazy Eight says, my cousin said you ratted him out. Okay, and he was like, no, I didn't. I whooped that dude's A, man. Come on. And his cousin, and he was like, you can whoop his A right here. He right here. And then he comes down there and pulls the gun down him. Wait, man, I got meth. I can take you to somebody. I know somebody. Okay. Now, if you're looking at that from, if you're not looking at that deeply, one can say it's Jesse's fault. And it is his fault because of who he associates with. And he brought that to Walter, putting Walter in a sticky situation. And he had to, that Walter had to get both of them out of. So Walter essentially became a killer due to that interaction. But once again, if you're looking at it real deep, Crazy Eight is the reason why Walter crossed that line of killing. Okay. Because he lied and framed Jesse. And his cousin believed that Jesse ratted him out when it was him that did it. Okay. And he was about to pop a cap in Jesse just to go, he'll do anything he can to move forward or survive. This dude don't care. And that's what people don't see. That's why they feel sorry for him in that scene where Nacho put hands on him for being short. Okay, and that was the correct thing to happen to that dude despite how brutal it was. Because these type of individuals, these type of scumbags, okay, they take kindness for weakness. Okay, and even if you ain't being kind, however they can get over on you, they're still going to say, oh, you kind, you weak. Okay, so the correct thing was for him to be beaten up. Okay, you didn't hold up your end of the deal, but you're not going to walk away from this unscathed. That's how you get these people to respect you. And since the average individual is on the same level as these people in the show on multiple levels, that's how you got to do people in real life too. But, metaphorically, you don't just do that. Okay, you have to, get them proportionately and make them respect you. Okay, you get them within context and make them respect you. Okay, if you like for instance, if somebody's saying something slick and it go up under your radar or over your head, whatever, you didn't know. But if you catch it, that's when you got to check them on it. Okay, make them know that you see that they full of crap. Okay, otherwise they think they're gonna continue to do it. Okay, with no consequences. And since this is 24 minutes, I got to wrap it up. And this has been the Negro Ninja bringing you your Negro message for today. Negro out.